allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I call to order this regular session of the Vienna City Council. Having taken a roll and having quorum, we will proceed. This evening, we did not have anyone sign up for the public forum, so we will continue on with the report of the minutes.
Yes. Yeah, there was a slight change. Councilwoman Rhodes requested that to add to her comments about the planning committee meeting, and it will add the public hearing on the amendments will begin at 5:30 p.m. and the meeting will follow at the conclusion of the public hearing. So that's the only change.
And those were circulated.
Yes, sir.
But council has that updated, those updated minutes.
Just now. I just told him now.
Technically, if you're going to amend the, just as a point of procedure, if you're going to amend the minutes at the meeting, they have to be amended by motion and second.
Okay. So what I can do is do it now.
Do a motion to amend the minutes?
Yes.
To reflect the changes that you just listed.
Do we have a motion to amend? We have a motion and a second, and a third and a fourth. Any other additions or corrections to the minutes? All those in favor of passing the amendment to the minutes, please signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously.
You'll just reissue them, right?
Yes, I will. Thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
You're not that tall.
Yeah, in the Philippines we do like that, excuse me. So, excuse me.
Moving on. Mr. Sasson, your treasurer's report.
Yeah, I reviewed the reconciliation of funds dated February 4th, 2026, and the short budget reported at a high level. Compared them to the previous month, the accounts are in order and the city of Vienna can pay its bills.
Any questions or concerns? If not, the report of the treasurer will stand as submitted.
Yeah, there's only one comment, and it's still, and I'm assuming you're gonna bring it up later, but starting next week, we'll start the whole process and procedure for
Budget.
the budget for the 2026, 2027 calendar year.
That is correct. Moving on, we have two items to address under unfinished business. The first is the second reading of an ordinance approving a right-of-way and an easement to the WVUP Foundation.
This is an ordinance conveying a road right-of-way and easement to WVU, Parkersburg Foundation, Inc., West Virginia nonprofit corporation. For brevity's sake, I'll point out section 2. It conveys a permanent, non-exclusive right-of-way and easement for the purposes of constructing a road as is set out in the deed that's attached thereto. Section 3, for purposes of this meeting, I just want to reiterate, 1, council has to make certain findings. 1, the conveyance of the right-of-way and easement serves a valid public purpose, namely to provide a road to service a proposed elementary school in WVP, both of which provide educational services that benefit the public. 2, the city of Vienna recognizes a demonstrable need for the property to serve the public. The proposed Wood County Elementary School project and the renovation of WVP and WVU at Parkersburg Foundation Inc. property. 3, the conveyance is supported by good and valuable consideration. 4, WVU Parkersburg Foundation Inc. is a valid West Virginia nonprofit corporation. 5, the conveyance is in the best interest of the city of Vienna and the citizens of the city of Vienna. And we'll go from there.
Do I have a motion to accept the second reading of the ordinance?
Yes. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Having no other discussion, having a motion and a second, all those in favor of adopting the ordinance on its second reading as submitted, please signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. Our second item of unfinished business is a second reading on another ordinance pertaining to the budget. Mr. Skolstad.
I'm not gonna read the entire thing, but I'll try to summarize it as best I can. This is an ordinance authorizing limited internal budget revisions within departments without prior council approval and providing for reporting requirements. The purpose of this is to allow the mayor and after consulting with the finance director to, during the fiscal year, move up no more than 20% of any single department's budget without having to come to council to do the internal budget revisions. We don't presently have an ordinance or a mechanism that allows to do this, but that's essentially what this does.
So the way that just to expand upon that, the way the process works is that the request would come from the department head through the finance department. Then once confirmed with the finance department, would then go to my office for the approval of that. Do we have a motion to pass the ordinance on the second reading? We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead, Roger.
Oh, thank you. Let me see if I can get this one right. I'd like to make a motion to amend the ordinance to read as follows. In section 1E, where it talks about capital expenditure, means any project or expenditure classified as capital outlay under the city budgets or accounting policies, and I'd like to end that there. Remove including but not limited to expenditures in excess of $5,000. And talking with the finance director, she didn't think that's necessary. And then under section 2, add B, where we actually define where these expenditures can be spent, and it would be read, such revisions are further limited to to budget categories and their respective line items for contract services and commodities.
That was supposed to be added after we had our verbal discussion last night, remember?
Yeah, this is the amendment that we talked about. I drafted it in the form that Mr. Smith has just read. So we have a motion on the floor. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on the amendment? On the amendment?
Yeah, Rodney, I thought that on the amendment, you wanted to specify the specific name, at least have a reference to the number. So that way at least there was some cross section.
Yeah, we talked about that and we added their respective line items because in the future, the way I understand it, that those line items may get changed.
Yeah, but what we said is we would have both. So if you have both and something changes, at least you have a reference.
Right. My suggestion is to just do it by category, which is why the categories are in there, contract services and commodities. Because what I don't want is somebody that wants to play with the budget come in and say, okay, well, we're going to move our line items. You have line items 1 through 10 in the budget. Well, we're just going to change what line items 1 through 10 stand for. So this way you have distinct categories. So if you change the line items, and then you don't have to go back and argue. I understand what you're meaning with putting the numbers for the line items in the budget, and if I knew, or if I were, well, the council could always amend it at some point in the future, but this way it just prevents somebody from playing with the budget and changing numbers and what have you, or changing numbers and causing the whole thing to become invalid. So I'm just going, my recommendation was just to go with categories, that you're just limited to commodities and contract services. And you can move those wherever you want, but we know what a commodity is and we know what contract services are.
And that's one thing that Amy confirmed, that although line items may change, categories do not. A category is a category. It won't change, so that's what her recommendation was. So we have a motion to make the amendment to include those items in which Recorder Smith added. Any other discussion? All those in favor of accepting the admin, I get it right. The amendment, I need some more chocolate. The amendment as read, please signify by raising your right hand. I got a whole pot right here. The amendment passes.
Now,
I kind of felt like that part in Finding Nemo when he was trying to say anemone. He just couldn't get it out. So we've had the amendment, now back to the
ordinance as amended.
the ordinance as amended. Is there any other discussion? Having no other discussion, all those in favor of passing the ordinance as amended, please signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. And now, for our viewing pleasure today, in educational purposes, we have a wonderful presentation by Dr. Tori Jackson and Lindsay Pearsall from the Economic Development Authority.
We're gonna sing for you tonight.
I thought you guys were practicing.
Nobody wants to hear that.
So thank you for the opportunity to be before you today and for the vote that you just took on the easement of the roadway. We believe that project is going to go out to bid in March, and then we'll be able to start with the next phase, which is the construction of that road. We wanted to give you a little bit of an update because it's been just a tad bit of time since we've been here, and I know that you all haven't had a chance to visit the campus lately, so we wanted to show you a few pictures of where we're at now. But we always like to start and remind you where we started because it's really good sometimes to see the growth and where we came from. So we talk about where we started, and we know that the only way we got to where we are now is because of the trust that the community and others have had in us, as well as the trust that we've had between each other and between the partners that have helped us in this project and those very important relationships. And the city of Vienna is one of those very important relationships that's allowed us to purchase a failed campus and do massive renovations in just an attempt to provide economic growth for the community. And you butt in whenever.
Well, I always butt in because if you don't know what this piece of paper is, when we were meeting with the late Sam Ross about the initial donation that came into the WVUP Foundation, this was what Tori drew up at her dining room table about her plans for the campus, and she wooed him, and that's how this whole thing got started. So it's framed in our office, but we also frame it in this PowerPoint so people can see that it truly was just her ideas on a piece of paper. So
it's become much more than that, luckily. And again, we want to go back to the scope of this project and what it means for our community, because these are the problems that it helps have a small piece in solving. And so you could talk about housing.
So obviously, if we have a housing shortage here in Wood County, it's not unique to us. It's across the nation, really. But we're going to get to a slide here in a little bit. That ancillary land around the school is going to be developed for housing. The way that we have the layout right now, there could be 75 single-family homes, and I've told you that before. Currently, where that stands, and I don't think this is in there later, but we're doing a preliminary engineering report that's due back any day on the water and sewer portion. That is to be able to turn and apply to the West Virginia Water Development Authority for funding, and then Parkersburg Utility Board will serve that water and sewer need, because if you'll recall, it was going to be $12 million for Vienna to do it, and it's $1.2 million for Parkersburg Utility Board to do it because of where their access is by Encompass Health. So Craig and Mayor Emmerich were kind enough to allow us to do that, and so it was the easiest and quickest way for us to be able to provide water and sewer to move this project along.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, so we also talk about childcare, and we'll show you a few photos later on. The childcare facility was able to open on December 8th, and it has been in operation and it's doing quite well. Yes, we had a bump in the road along the way, so we can admit that the irony of the project is that we had to put in a sprinkler system to be able to offer childcare, and then a hatch was left open to a roof that caused for very cold air to hit a pipe, which caused it to burst. And then the one thing that flooded happened to be 2 rooms of childcare. So we already have had to begin reconstruction of those 2 rooms, and one is back in operation, and the second one is getting close. So they've responded well, and we are continuing to proceed, but it's just the irony of construction. We also have been able to continue with our efforts to improve transportation. Again, the city of Vienna has transportation, public transportation, and that will now be able to come to our campus as a result of this project. I don't believe have that bus route up there yet, but we're in the works with the transit authority to get it back up there. And then we are getting ready to hire our first bus driver, who will then allow us to take the students who can get to the Vienna campus out to the 47 campus if there are any transportation barriers that continue to exist for them. So it's a new opportunity for us to help with transportation. Again, there's no public transportation that comes to the 47 campus because it's outside of city limits. This provides that opportunity for us. Technology advancements, go ahead. I feel like you're ready.
No.
Okay. So we're able, I'll tell you a couple of new developments that have come as part of this project that we're very excited about. We do have a partnership now with Amazon Web Services for a 2-year cloud computing degree, which begins to be offered to the public in the fall of 26. So that's this year. And so we're being able to expand our curriculum already. And we have moved our engineering technology program also over to the Vienna campus. That's a true 2+2 program that we have with WVU in Morgantown. So a student can come and get the first 2 years with us in a program that's eligible for West Virginia Invest, which means it can be tuition free. And then they can move on and continue that program in Morgantown for the final 2 years. So that's also a new development in addition to the other programs that you already knew were being offered at that facility. So we're very excited for that advancement.
And then in regard to technology, the goal of this campus obviously was to bring in-demand jobs to Wood County. And so yesterday evening, Tori and I had a visitor from Boston. So we are attracting attention outside of Wood County to the campus, which is exciting, and we think that will continue to grow. So he was super impressed. He asked more questions, I think, than anybody has ever asked us, actually, but it's really good, and I foresee us having a lot more of those in the future.
Right, and he works for a tech company who now has an interest in Vienna, West Virginia. So what it will bring, we're not exactly sure, but we're excited for where the future could lead us. And then we, of course, have room for educational growth and expanding our programs. All of our short-term programs that we offer, examples of those: certified medical assistant, phlebotomy, dental assistant, HVAC, programs like that where someone comes in and they get a short credential that puts them back to work, usually happens in 3 to 6 months. Those are all now being able to be offered at the Vienna campus. That started in January, so that's an advancement for us as well. Some of those do have clinical sites, like HVAC has a different site that they go to, as does automotive technician. But the base for all of those programs is now at the Vienna campus, which again has transportation opportunities. So we expect expansion in that area as well.
And then economic development locations, so there will be opportunities inside of the school building, and there will be opportunities eventually outside of the school building. So again, when we get to the rendering later, there is a design for commercial development. We've had conversations with 2 entities that have an interest in locating up there, contingent on the elementary school being built, which it is slated to open in the fall of 2027. So we continue to have conversations with them. Both would be new businesses to the city of Vienna. They do not currently operate there. So we're excited about that.
Great. So what that really means is for WVU Parkersburg, we have an opportunity for enrollment and retention and student success, but you all and Lindsay they have an opportunity for community growth and economic development with this joint partnership. So we're very excited about it. And we've been partnering for a while together, so we like to remind ourselves that this is a team effort. And part of the transformation, see, I can't speak either, has come through.
And if it's happening to you, I don't feel bad because you were.
Yes. So one of the main projects that we've been able to partner on has been the windows and doors.
So if you'll recall, the Wood County Development Authority was awarded $1,250,000 in a 2024 earmark from Congressman Capito. See, I can't talk either. Senator Capito, Senator Manchin.
It's something in the room.
I don't know what it is. So we were able to put in 468 windows and 32 doors with that money. So they're all installed, and that grant will be closed out anytime that we get the closeout paperwork from HUD.
And U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito had the opportunity to tour the facility, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. and had a chance to see that work and was very pleased with what we have been able to do. Of course, you've been able to see the construction happening over time, and this shows you the model of the entrance, and even more work has been done on the entrance since I last took this picture. The lighting will soon be installed. It's very beautiful when you approach the campus, so we're excited about that. We also remind you of the classroom transformation and where we began with this project, and then the process of transforming it, and now where the classrooms are at today. And they are state-of-the-art, beautiful classrooms with wonderful technology for our students, and we're very excited about that piece.
And the picture you saw earlier was Tori and her assistant L'Oreal and I picking out the fabric for these chairs. So
We did.
so we're excited to see them actually installed.
Very involved. So our short-term programs are at the workforce entrance. That section has not been paved yet. The weather did get the best of us, and so we expect that part of the project to pick back up in March. We do have the entrance, and I want you to know this is a real photo of the space, and that is what our receptionist desks looks like when someone walks into that section of the campus. It's absolutely beautiful. So it almost looks like a rendering, so I like to remind you that's a real picture. This shows you part of the lobby if you haven't been up there for a while, and we do actually have, in addition to it now, we have lights in the back of that space as well. And then these are actual pictures from the podcast studio that exists inside the facility as well. And then you can see conference rooms inside the space, also real pictures of the space, not a rendering anymore. And then very beautifully, pictures of the child care facility. And so we only have a couple of it that we put in there. We make sure we don't have any pictures with children in them. But we had the opportunity even yesterday to have the Deputy Secretary of Commerce for the state of West Virginia tour the facility with us and see that in action. So it's getting a lot of attention across the state for Vienna.
And I think it's important, Tori, and correct me if I get the numbers wrong, there's 130 spots at the daycare. Prior to this, they were in a church and they had 60 spots. So they over doubled it, and they're at 100 enrolled right now. So they're already at the, close point to being full. So that's pretty exciting for a facility that just opened a couple months ago.
Right. We have a lot of lighting features, and maybe somebody who helped design this likes lighting. I'm not exactly sure. This is a rendering of the residence hall that the college foundation has, and we actually moved the first students into that hall in January. We are deciding to do it a little bit slower than we had originally anticipated. There are 130 spaces. We will open 55, the ground floor, completely for August, and then we will wait until next year to open the rest of them, and that's only to be able to make sure that we have more funding in place for the completion of that project. That's a little bit separate than the rest of the building. But again, students have been able to move into these rooms, and that's a new venture and something that we never knew a few years ago that we would be able to get to. So this shows you a view of one of the parking lots that is completed. This is part of the construction on the new road that we were working on that was just around the facility because it all had to be redone as well. And then it will lead into the road that you just approved an easement for. So we've had a lot of relationships that have been very important, and we're very thankful for those relationships. And this shows you it's a little bit outdated in the sense of the property view because that back part is all now paved, but it just shows you a little bit of the scope and size, and this is only a portion of the project. It doesn't show the South Campus and what we're planning to do. But you can see the beginning of two roads. The new road will actually come down through this press box and down this way to 12th Street, and then this is a space that's carved out for housing, and this is the beginning of one of the other roads that has been carved out for housing. So was there a little bit of timbering that occurred? Yes. Was it very selective? Yes, and not selective on the part that it allowed us to get the biggest tree. It was what can allow us to use the property the best and most efficiently. So we still kept a lot of...
And still leave what we could.
Yes, we've left everything that we possibly can. And there you go.
Okay, so this is the concept that I talked about earlier. So right here, which I can barely see it from right here, but Number 1 is the school building itself. Number 2 is the residence halls. 5 is what will be Vienna Elementary School. And then you see the different, Tori and I call them fingers, but they're cul-de-sacs of roads that go around. Number 4 and number 3 are where we anticipate future commercial space being able to go. So if you go up the campus right now and you look to the left when you start to turn, that's where that would go. And then number 8, we're not sure if this will be a possibility or not due to terrain, TBD, but that shows multifamily housing on number 8. So again, everything on here is what's planned. This is open. These are open. This will be open in fall of 27. Roadway will be put out to bid in March. Water and sewer PERS is in the works. And then as soon as funding is allocated for that, Parkersburg Utility Board's ready to roll. And my understanding of it is they're going to try to do some of that in conjunction with the road so they don't have to dig up and then lay water and sewer piping after the fact.
And if you see right there at the very end of that road is actually where they already have water to that spot. So it was a really easy tie-in for them at that point in time. And I think if you look, you can't see it on that one. Never mind, different picture. You can see that we're almost there already with what we have cleared. So again, we got here because of the trust that the community has been able to have in us and the great relationships that we have with partners like the City of Vienna. We're very thankful for your ability to support this project, because we're doing something that will never be done again. 250 acres inside of city limits that have the opportunity to be developed. We know the privilege that is, and we are doing our very best to make sure that it's managed in a way that really solves systemic problems in this area and allows your community to grow.
And I think the last thing we'll add before we turn it over to anybody for questions is, Tori mentioned yesterday that we took Christine Davies, who's the Deputy Secretary of Commerce, through. We've taken Secretary of Commerce Matt Herridge through. Senator Capito's been through. And the feedback that we keep getting from them is, how can we replicate this in other parts of the state? So they're very interested in how we've been able to partner with people to make some of this come to fruition. So I think it's something to be proud of. Any questions for us? Yes, sir.
I got a couple. First one, you had 2 words at the beginning.
Trust.
You really have 3.
Yes.
You're missing one.
What is it?
Vision.
Yes, there's
Because
definitely
without
been
that,
a vision.
you wouldn't have got to where you got in your piece of paper that you
Thought you were going to say money.
The other was, you talked about the child care. What's the age bracket in there?
It
0
is.
to 5.
It's 6 weeks to 5, and they're hoping to expand it even more as time goes on. They have hopes to be able to help school-aged children as they grow and expand.
Okay, and my last question is, do you have land covenants for the housing development you're gonna have?
We will.
Okay, can you share that with us?
We will when we have them
I
drafted.
wanna make sure they're pretty ironclad.
Understood. But yes. Yes, ma'am.
What do you project to be the average size of homes, or the range of the size of homes and the cost of those when they go on the market?
To be determined. And part of that has been, we're waiting for the PERS to come back to make sure that our estimate on water and sewer is correct. Obviously, when you make that investment, it's going to factor into the price of the lots and things of that nature. So my personal vision for it, and always has been, I would like to see various price points across the different cul-de-sacs, not just, $500,000, $600,000 houses. And that's why we also have the multifamily on there. We have needs across every price point. The problem is when you get into, and I've said this before, I hear a lot about affordable housing, and I understand, I feel it, I agree with it. It is very hard to make money on affordable housing if it is not subsidized by the government. And unfortunately, and fortunately, Vienna does not qualify for any subsidies from the federal government, like low-income housing tax credits. So they probably will be $200,000 or above homes, just taking a guess.
How do you see this happening? Is it likely that it's going to be one party, one developer that's selling all the lots?
That's our hope, and honestly, that's how I foresee it happening, because most people won't come in and they can't make money building one house unless it's a monstrosity. So they have to come in and build out all 75 lots to make it worth their while. So From talks with my executive committee and board and talks with the engineers and architects, we think it would probably have to go to one party. I also absolutely do not want to parcel them out one by one. I think it would be an absolute nightmare.
Thank you.
You may, sir.
And you don't have to answer this publicly if you don't want to, just say you don't want, you don't want to. But we have an absence, and it's okay if you don't have one, my goodness. But we've talked in the past, there's an absence of housing in the above $200,000 and below, let's say $350,000 in this area, correct?
Correct.
We can't hit that sweet spot for the middle class. And only if you can answer this, do you have I know that you've proposed an idea that the houses will be about $200,000. Is there a ceiling on the end of that? Because I can say $200,000 and then put $500,000 houses in, or yeah, $500,000 houses in, and it doesn't really address what issue.
Right. And until we identify a builder, I can't definitively answer that. The goal for me with our housing assessment that was done a couple of years ago and the need that it showed is I see that there's a need across every price point. I know what the bare minimum that people can build and make money off of is. So again, it's going to depend on what all goes into the land, what you can sell that for, and what they come in and build. But again, the goal would be a little bit of everything up there if possible. Yes.
For those who go to the beach, there's a lot of housing development down through there, and usually it's one contractor, and they usually give you 3 or 4 housing designs to pick from with different price points, and then they go at it. And within 1 year, you can put a 75, plot housing development up and ready and running. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And frankly, that's how I anticipate it going. Would be that option. Someone comes in, has several options you can pick from, whether it's ranch, 2-story, and then people can, add on or enhance them as they see fit. Yes.
Toby had his hand up next. Just wanted to be fair.
I just wanted to know what your the current enrollment was, and then I know we talked before about your kind of future goals for enrollment, and then what do you think the peak enrollment is for the school?
So we have 160 students that are in the programs, the academic programs that we currently have there. And we believe that within 2 to 3 years at max, we can grow that to 300 students because of the ability to have more classrooms that are dedicated to these programs. And then on the workforce side, what we do with the short-term programs and then our trainings that we provide for industry and businesses in the area on site, well, we had 450 students in 2024. I'm not telling you the 2025 numbers for 2 reasons. 1, I don't know them. And 2, we had about 6 months of living in flux because the project wasn't done at the time we expected it to be. So it's my goal that we get that to 700 within the next couple of years. Now, mind you that you also will have an elementary school with 500 students on that hill in addition to a childcare facility that has 130. So the numbers of students on the hill will be significant.
And just one other question too, thank you. Is there consideration being made for possible future expansion? Say, this college it sounds like it's going to be a great success. And then is there still going to be land left to be able to put maybe a future building if we needed to expand more?
Yes, there will still be space for us to put other buildings if we needed to. We also are doing a couple of things that we didn't address yet. There's there's about 30 acres of the land that's steep, and we will be able to use that for trails and other amenities that will also be of benefit to the city, hiking and biking trails. And that will be another addition, that Mountaineer Mile. You'll be able to get it in this space as well. Part of the next phase is also going to be allowing us to bring in an esports facility, a cyber range facility, which we're actually working in conjunction with IBM for that, the actual IBM. And we are also looking at incubation spaces for some businesses, and we're also looking at co-location spaces, which allows Wood County to be maybe a possible candidate for other programs.
Like the Ascend program, is that?
Because we currently are not. So that's in one of the next phases that we hope to do soon. Right now, the foundation is working on a funding package to complete the project. We have invested $24 million to date, and we need much more.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else?
Yes. It's kind of hard to speak and write at the same time. This is for Dr. Jackson. I know there's 2 residency dorms in that area, and you're saying you're going to have 50 rooms. What's the total capacity?
Total is 130. It's 130 as well.
And you'll eventually get there.
We have 55 on the bottom floor and 75 on the top floor.
And then, Rod, to clarify, it's 1 residential housing. So Ohio Valley University had 2, I don't want to call them dorms, they had apartments on
The South
the
Campus.
South Campus. That has been sold, and they've been renovated and turned back into apartments.
There's 16 apartments.
Okay, so I can't read your,
So this is the lobby, and this is one side, and that's the other side.
So it used to be
That's
boys
the
and
male
girls.
and the female, yeah.
Yeah, it's male and
I
female.
just thought those are 2 different,
They're connected.
oh, they are, okay. So there's a total of 75,
On the second floor,
second floor.
and there's 55 on the first floor. We already have the 55 on the bottom floor ready for habitation. We do not have all of the furniture purchased for the second floor yet.
Something that I'm sure everybody else has on their mind, and that is we appreciate so much that we are blessed to have Jackson and Pearsall, because without either one of you, this wouldn't have happened, and without your vision and your hard work, no place else in the country has been this lucky, so thank you for what you've done.
Thank you.
That's very nice, thank you.
Rod, did you have a follow-up?
This is for Lindsay. And I hope I'm not, excuse me, I hope I'm not out of line in saying this, but tell me about the 12th Street connection, just your vision of what, where it's actually going to connect, and if there's going to be sidewalks from the school all the way down, etc.
So where it will connect is 12th Street, which obviously is the road between Sam's Club and Lowe's. It will go past Sam's Club. It will veer left through what is currently Maplewood School. I think I've told you all before, but it's a tennis court.
Tennis and basketball.
It's a tennis and basketball court right now. It was paid for with land and water conservation funds, and so when you use those, they have to remain that in perpetuity. So Dr. Jackson will be moving those to the top of the hill, which is good because right now I'm pretty sure they're unusable. And instead of a tennis court, it will be a pickleball court and a basketball court on top of the hill. So if you drive up and you see Maplewood School and where the courts are, the road will wrap right up there, and then we'll connect. If you want to go back, to that picture and show them again.
Yeah. It's going to go through this space and then up to this connection point and then up over the hill.
So you'll see, obviously that's Lowe's. I'm not that tall. You're gonna have to do
They're
it.
down there.
Yeah, so they're right there. So it'll go down that hill, that point to Maplewood School.
Yeah, it's going to come through. This building will be demolished. It's going to come through here and hit these courts and then connect up here and then come up over the hill in this space that's already made. But this bottom part isn't done yet. So
And that will include sidewalks.
the plan is to have sidewalks. We're hoping to have a bike trail as well, as long as we can get all of the funding secured for it.
Okay, so you say the plan is to include sidewalks. Will they be built at the same time, the road and the sidewalks, or is the sidewalks come in later?
I don't have
I
that.
think
That's a
it's-
Ryan Taylor question.
I think it's
they're
part of
supposed
the
to be at
design.
the same time. Yeah, I believe they're supposed to be at the same time, but
Yes.
I don't want to speak incorrectly, but that's my understanding.
Yeah, I hope so. I hate for kids or people riding bikes and can't get on the street.
Right. We actually already have students who ride bikes to the campus on the other road that is not as wide as what this new road will be, and we do not yet have a sidewalk on that road, and so we already know the issue that creates, and we are going to try to avoid that. But thank you for mentioning that.
And the bus route obviously would be probably be using that. as well.
Yes, they will.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No questions.
You have no questions? Thank you, Mr. Leach.
Opposing counsel rests.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Jack, were you saying something?
No, I just support your judge.
Thought you were.
You know,
used to hearing that.
you know budget season is coming up. When you're looking at these contracts.
Next week.
Let me just finish by saying, again, that was one of the first things that we as council did, even before we took office, was make the visit to come see this location. And it was cold and.
It was raining, I
Yeah,
think, too,
it was
that day.
raining that day, and the building that we see today, a year later, is unrecognizable compared to what was there. In the leadership that both of you have brought, the vision in the drive with Dr. Jackson is unmatched. I truly believe you can accomplish anything you want to accomplish. And I would not want to stand in the way of any of that at any given time. I would not want to be on the receiving end of that. But, yeah, right? And I was getting ready to say when we were having our little English issue that you were far smarter than me and still having, and I wasn't going to take anything from the peanut gallery, which I knew that it was going to come up. But I don't think this area will ever truly be able to fully appreciate all of the work and effort that the both of you, along with countless others, have done because they have not seen. And again, I use the term generational change. It's going to be remarkable. And I truly believe we're going to see growth in the tech industry in Vienna, West Virginia, because people are going to, and businesses are going to want to come here because they have a ready pool of accessible applicants to be able to put in the workforce. So I am truly grateful for all of it and just look forward to great things to come.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for taking time to be with us tonight.
Thank you all.
On a side note, we're also doing a little partnership with the school. We have, the Vienna Public Library has a mobile library, satellite library location that's currently at the mall, and Dr. Jackson has graciously allowed us to now relocate that, and we're going to put that in the dorm area, if I understand. So students will have access to Vienna Public Library resources right on site. So I didn't want to forget to mention that. Thank you. Moving on to our next agenda item is a general fund budget revision number 1.
So the resolution requesting the Thrasher Group to prepare task orders for 1 restroom project at Spencer's Landing and 2 the design.
Nope, you skipped 1.
Did I skip 1?
Yep.
Where am I at?
Police Department, number 2.
Hold
We'll get you through this, right?
on.
We
Hold on.
can't,
I got ahead of
we
myself.
can't count tonight. 1, 2.
Minor number. We're talking about Acrosure? No.
No, number 1.
Hold
Number 2.
No, revision number 1 I'm talking about. It's
I'm looking.
bullet 2. General fund, internal budget revision 1, police department.
on. Okay, well, that's on that. That's not very good.
Go ahead.
We're on the internal budget revision, there's $90,000 of opioid money to offset. So this impacts the police department. We're moving $90,000 from account number 455-59, which is capital outlay equipment, into account number 455-07, which is pension. Discussion, Chad?
Do I have a motion to accept the general fund internal budget revision as submitted? We have a motion. Do I have a second? Tony? And we have a second. Open for discussion.
I think I got a pretty good grasp on what this is, but would you care just to?
So every year we have to do a transfer to the police pension fund and square it up, basically. This happens every year, and this is simply what it's addressing, what we need to do to be able to bring that to where it needs to be. This is a yearly action. It's nothing out of sort in the way of, it's nothing new, and it just brings us to where we need to be good on our police pension fund.
And are we typically this far off the mark?
This is common.
Okay.
Well, I I say that, yes, but we've also had multiple retirements this year, which has increased those contributions because now there's going to start to be paid outs from those. And I believe, Henry, do you know, is it 3 retirements out of the police department?
I thought it was 2.
Well, oh, and we have a 3rd coming.
Okay, I didn't know about the 3rd.
We have a 3rd coming on the 24th of this month, but that's what has potentially increased it slightly, but it's something that just happens with the flow of.
It's the number's not unforeseen. We've known that these officers are going to retire. The number is not out of the ordinary for the number of officers that are
Retired.
That's all. It's not anything the city's done or the market's done or anything like that. It's just that time.
Any other discussions? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of accepting general fund internal budget revision number 1, signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. The next item we have on the agenda, agenda item number 3, is requesting the Thrasher Group, who we at last council meeting approved to be our engineer firm on these projects, to prepare 2 task orders. One for restrooms and the other for a stage. Do I have a motion to accept the resolution as submitted? I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Open for discussion?
What these task orders are for one restroom facility, the one between the parking area and the stage is what we're looking at, and the stage itself. And, you know, I assume, you'll be doing the engineering. What do you need from us? Is there anything that you need from us prior to us going forward on this?
We'll need to clarify the scope on the task order to make sure we understand exactly what it is we're trying to do. Designing the restroom, designing the stage, that's pretty straightforward. One of the questions that we're going to have is like physical survey, site survey of the site itself. One of the things we would like to propose is sending our surveyors out and just having them do the full survey of the entire 17 acres. And the same thing with an environmental review. And that way that work is done up front and we have it available for us. So for these task orders and any future task orders you want to proceed with, we won't have to remobilize crews to do that work. Beyond that, there will just be some minor clarifications. We'll work with you drafting the task order here over the next couple of weeks because we'd like to have them at the next city council meeting. Just want to refine some things, like how many meetings we need to be here, like discussions, design revisions, those kind of things. Because we'll do our initial field work. We'll do like the conceptual design, get some renderings together so you can sort of see what we're envisioning for those structures to look like and like the floor plan, maybe the layout of them. Get those in front of council, get approval or get your comments on them so that we can refine them and then we can move forward with construction documents. We anticipated, everybody seems to be motivated to keep this pretty streamlined and not to really bog it down. And so that's pretty much what we're going to be operating with as we draft up these task orders.
So as I understand it, the procedure will be, if the task orders or the request for task orders is approved tonight, you'll generate a document that says, this is what it costs, this is what the expected time is.
Yes.
This based on square footage of the 2 facilities that are being built is a rough approximation of what the cost is going to be. Then based on those task orders, draft proposals for each of them. You'll bring those back to council along with renderings and so forth. And at that point, council can approve the task orders and make amendments to the renderings. How do you want to do that?
No, the task order itself will cover. They'll outline the full scope of what our services will be.
Right.
And so that'll and the fee, the scope and the fee will be outlined in those task orders that we'll bring here to the next council meeting. And that will include doing the draft design, getting the concepts together, getting those here to council or whatever small group, however it is you want us to present those to get feedback so that, we're moving in the direction that the council wants us to. But it will just outline that process as well as timeframes like you.
So the next meeting will just be for the task orders, the rough cost, the rough time frame, and so forth.
Yes.
So council should not expect, and I don't know how you would do it in 2 weeks, renderings and an outline and all that stuff for the actual projects themselves.
Correct. It'll just be
Okay.
a scope and fee
This
proposal.
is just the agreement and just the basic idea.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Just real quick, on this, resolution, it says design and construction. Thrasher isn't contracted to do the construction.
Right.
So-
As I understand how this all works is Thrasher Group will give us a cost for their services and a potential cost for the project. And then once the project, the details of the project are approved, Thrasher will then generate bid documents, contracts, and so forth, which Thrasher will then solicit bids for. And then the projects themselves will be bid on by whatever contractors are gonna do that. And then we come back and approve all of that separately.
Correct. Our services will cover the engineering services through construction. So it'll preparation of the concept plans, the construction documents, getting approval from council, getting permits that are needed, NPDES stormwater permits, environmental permits, preparing the bid documents, the bid package, publishing that, soliciting bids, reviewing those bids, and making a recommendation on the lowest qualified bidder. And then once it's awarded, then overseeing construction as well, as far as construction coordination, which would be bi-weekly meetings and temporary general inspections and those kind of things. So like those task orders will cover all of those services through the process.
Yeah. Thanks for coming up tonight. Appreciate you being here. One thing I've really enjoyed about kind of watching and following along with some of the Wood County schools and their construction is the engineering firm has been scoping out ways when one area of the phase of the construction went above the kind of budget that they were working with. They were able to look at other areas and say, hey, we can probably cut something here. And it was all kind of happening live during construction. Is that something Thrasher will be able to do as that construction's happening?
Yeah, yes, there's always that type of, change orders are common, change order requests are very common through the construction process. But getting those requests and processing those and either determining that they're out of line or finding ways that, if we can make changes to reduce what those requests are, like you're saying, make changes elsewhere to save money elsewhere. That's constantly, it's a dance that happens. It's very, very common. And I end up doing that on a lot of my projects. We don't like our projects to go over budget. We have funds are limited and, that's how we do it.
And I'll just say this too. That was the only question I had, but this is exciting. I think everybody agrees. This is very exciting. We're getting to the point where something's about to start happening. This is cool.
Absolutely. This has been a long time coming, and I can't imagine that it would be any more exciting to anybody, more so than Mr. Leach, who is sitting here, who was part of the original administration that had the vision to purchase this property, and to see a vision to grab hold of it. Now, Jim, I don't know, how many years has it been now?
It's my third term, and actually Manville was bought, and I came on board 2016. We already had it, and it was the beginning phase of what we're going to do with it. And so it's been a long time coming. Well, great to get there. Because I said, let's clean up Manville, and I think I'll do that in one term. We'll be out of here. And here we are.
But sometimes things just take a little bit of time. This is a very exciting time for Vienna because we are going to start to see things come to fruition that has been discussed for well over a decade. And this, in combination with the college and the mall and there's just so many wonderful things that are going on. It's a little overwhelming for the energy that you see coming from all of it, but very excited on that. Is there any other discussion? If not, all the, oh,
I
They're
wish
slow
I
to
could
the
get
draw.
numbers, I get ignored.
slow to the draw.
No. Capital projects, I've worked on them many times all over the place, and you gotta really have your scope defined, because changes happen and changes are not cheap. I just look at Parkersburg High School's football stadium, they still got a set of bleachers that have never been put in place because they were careless in how they managed their changes. So it's gonna be important to define the scope up front. Make sure everything's done the right way, because if not, that leads to expenses that don't need to be paid for later.
Absolutely. Any other discussion? If there's no other discussion, have a motion and a second. All those in favor of accepting the resolution as submitted, signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes unanimously plus one. Tony raised his hand twice.
Right, he's not allowed to.
I want it in the minutes.
I didn't see it, so sorry.
Thank you all.
This is a huge step for the city of Vienna. Item number 4 is another resolution dealing with our insurance.
This is a resolution adopting actuarial services agreement with Acrisure Mid-Atlantic Partners Insurance Services LLC for OPEB actuarial services. Be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Vienna, West Virginia. The mayor and finance director are hereby authorized and directed to execute on behalf of the City of Vienna an engagement letter and standard terms of engagement with Acrisure Mid-Atlantic Partners Insurance Services LLC dated January 30th, 2026 for the provision of actuarial services related to the City of Vienna's post-employment benefits plan as set out in the attached engagement letter. This agreement provides for actuarial valuation and related services necessary to comply with governmental accounting standards board statements number 75, including projections, sensitivity analysis, and routine audit support at an annual fee of $5,000, plus any approved additional services as provided therein. The mayor and/or his designated are authorized to take all actions necessary and incidental to carrying out the intent of this resolution and the terms of the agreement.
Having heard the resolution, do I have a motion to accept? I have a motion and a second?
I didn't see the second.
I'm looking for a
Let's
second.
be the second.
Huh? Then be the second.
I'll be the second.
Be the second. I have a motion and a second. As we go into discussion, this is being done because, to my understanding, the company that we dealt with before was purchased, and we're just now, because of the purchase of the company, we have to re-engage with the new owner. Henry?
Is this new potential owner, are they the same ones that have the naming rights at the former Heinz Field? Actually, sure. Is this the same outfit?
Are you a Browns fan?
No, I'm a Steelers fan.
That
Do
is.
you have a conflict you're refusing?
No. I'm just wondering if it's, because it's not a popular name. I know it's a financial services company. I don't know if it's the same affiliation. I was just curious.
Sir, I do not know. That is beyond my scope of knowledge on their company.
Sounds right.
Yeah, sounds good.
We do not endorse the Steelers.
Yeah.
My condolences for the Browns.
Is there any other discussion? Having none, all those in favor of accepting the resolution as submitted, please signify by raising your right hand. Oh, we're gonna sing the clean version of that one. No. Motion passes unanimously. That concludes our agenda items. Now moving into reports, standing boards, and committees. Does anyone have reports to give?
Baseball, softball, and t-ball signups are live and will be until March 20th with games set to begin in April. Soccer signups for spring are going to begin in March and will go through the middle of April. Those games are set to begin. Games are set to begin on May the 9th. I wanted to give out some numbers too for the basketball. The winter session, we had 279 players participating in the basketball this season. Youth hockey, we've got 101 players participating in the adult hockey league. Has been actually pretty heavily attended. We've got about 60 players playing in the adult hockey league for rec. So that was all for VRI. Oh, and I'll say that for council comments. Thank you.
Any other Board reports?
Just mentioned, we had the public meeting for the wastewater system improvements and that scheduled moving forward, well, according with our 5-year plan, so most of was.
In the way of city business, we did go through the selection process for a additional patrolman. We have vacancies on the force, and out of that process, it has rendered one applicant that has made it through everything, and his packet was accepted today at the academy. So we will very shortly having a new officer on the Vienna Police Department, which is good, and a very high quality individual. I'm very excited about having him here. Are there any other reports? Council comments?
Just one. Just one.
Just one.
So I am proud to say that I coach the one of the other things that I do is I coach the North Christian boys basketball team, and my wife just texted me they just got their first win of the season tonight, 18-16. So go Stars, go Stars.
That didn't correlate with you being here rather than there. Here's coaching.
Yeah, I hate to miss it.
Was it your wife coaching?
Oh, I'm just an assistant. I'm an assistant to the assistant.
The assistant to the assistant. Any other council comments? Ms. Rhodes?
I passed this out to everyone. This is for the establishment of a park area across the street in the vacant lot. This will be on the agenda at the next regular council meeting. This will be on the agenda of the next regular council meeting. I tried to talk to everyone. I didn't have time to really talk to everyone. If you have any questions, give me a call and I'll answer whatever I can. Thank you.
Anyone else?
And next Thursday, there's a special council meeting, and we'll start the presentations for the budget set. And Chad's already, you want to fill everybody in on what's been done so far?
So internally, I have met along with Amy, our finance director, have met with all of the department heads. The budgets thus far have all come in either at or below what they were last year. And we have some recommendations in the way of pay and salaries that will be brought forward. And we're still waiting. We just got the initial numbers back on our insurance, which we're going to have to tweak a bit. That number sat at 17. Amy's wanting to see that get at or below 10 on that. So we'll start to work on that and get that addressed. But it's going very well. And we're currently to the good in our budget from last year, above and beyond what we did in the previous year. So I'm very pleased and very happy with where we're at. Anything else? Going once, going twice. Adjourned.
Hey, Russ. Yes.